The next topic is controlled access. In control access, the stations consult each other to find which station has the right to send, and the stations cannot send unless it is authorized by other stations. Control access protocol grant permission to send data only to one node at the time and avoid collision on share medium. And there are three methods in the control access. First one is the reservation, second one is the polling, and third one is the taken passing. Here the first one is the reservation. In this method, the stations need to make before sending data. The time is divided into the intervals, and if there are m stations, then the intervals are exactly m, and each interval will belongs to a stations in its own slot also, and it has to make reservations to send the data frames. In each interval, a reservation frame precedes the data frames. This is the scenario in this figure. Here the reservation time and data station 1, then data station here the 4, here the 1 2 3 4 5. Figure shows the 5 stations, and in this first reservation frame, station 1 3 and 4, these are the 1 3 and 4 have made for the reservation. So the reservation frame is first followed by data frame of the station 1 3 and 4, and in this second interval only station 1 has made the reservation. Then second is polling. In this method, one station is designated as a primary stations and other are secondary stations. All data transfer should be made through the primary devices, and the primary devices controls the link and act as a master, and all secondary devices follow its instructions. The primary device decide as to which device is allowed to use the channel, and if the primary stations want to receive the data, it asks the secondaries if they have anything to send. This method is called as the polling. And if primary stations want to send data, it asks secondary station to receive the data, and this is called as the selecting. Then here the primary data, and here the select for acknowledgement and data acknowledgement. These are the select. First one is the select functions. Here the select functions, and second one is the pull functions. Then first one is the select functions. It having the data. This is the use for when primary devices send the data. When primary stations want to send the data to other machine, it should intimate the other secondary devices that is sending the data. Then when primary stations want to here the machines first send the SEL, that means here the select SEL in this figure, SEL frame in which the address of the machine, that means secondary machine to which it want to send the data, is present. Then the primary machines wait for the acknowledgement ACK from that machine, and once the acknowledgement is reached, then the data is sent. And here second one is the poll. Whenever primary want to receive the data, then polling is used, and it polls each machine if it has something to send. The secondary response with MAK, here the NAK frames, and these frames which means nothing to send, and or which frame it wants to send the data, and if the response of the secondary device is negative, which is received as the NAK, negative acknowledgement frame, that the next frame is polled until it find one of the data to send. This is the negative acknowledgement. When the primary machine get the data, it accept the data frame and return the acknowledgement. Here these are the two figures which shows the select and poll functions in polling access method. Then token passing. In this method, stations is allowed to send the data when the stations receive a special frame called as the token. In token passing, the stations are organized in logical ring. For every stations, there is a predecessor and a successor. The right to access the channel has been passed from the predecessors to the current stations, and the right will be passed to the successor when the current stations has no more data to send. See the figures, and this figure shows the concept of token passing. When the channel is an ideal, then the token circulates around the ring, and when stations want to send the data, it wait for a token. When the tokens comes, the stations captures the token and send the data. When the machine is finished the data, it release the token, and the next machine, that means the successor. And here the token management is needed for the access method. For this access method, and token must be monitored to ensure it has not been lost or destroyed. Then next concept is channelization. Channelization is the multiple access method in which available bandwidth of a link is shared in time, frequency, or through the code between the different stations. Three channelization protocols are present in networking. First, here the sometimes channelization is also called as the channel partition. First channelization protocols, first one is the FDMA, second one is the TDMA, and third one is the CDMA. Then first is FDMA, frequency division multiple access, and second is the TDMA, stands for time division multiple access, and third one is the CDMA, code division multiple access. Then first one is the FDMA. Here the FDMA, in the frequency division multiple access, the bandwidth is shared by the all station, and each band is given to the station, and station send the data in its allocated band. Here the FDMA is a channel access method used in the multiple access protocol as a channelization protocol. In FDMA, the available bandwidth is divided into various frequency bands. Each station is allocated a band to send its data. This band is reserved for that stations for all the time. The frequency band of the different stations are separated by small bands of unused frequency, and these unused frequency bands are called as the guard bands, and that prevent stations interfaces. These are the FDM is a physical layer technique, whereas the FDMA is an access method in the data link layer. FDMA is the process of dividing one channel or bandwidth into the multiple individual band, and each for use by a single user. Each individual band or channel is wide enough to accommodate a signal spectra of the transmission to the propagated, and the data to be transmitted is modulated on each subcarrier, and all of them are linearly mixed together. Here the best example for FDMA is the cable television system. So this is the figure concept. FDMA concept is shown, and this is the about the common channel. Second one is the TDMA. Here the TDMA, time division multiple access, the entire bandwidth is one channel, and each station is allocated at the time slice. During its time slice, the data is sent. The TDMA is a channel access method for storing medium network. In a TDMA station share a bandwidth of the channel in time. Every station is allocated a time slot in which it can send the data. TDMA is a digital technique that divides a single channel or band into time slot. In TDMA, every station need to know the beginning of its slot and the location of its slot. To compensate, the delay guard space are used, and the TDMA bandwidth is just one channel, and that is time shared between different stations. Here the see, this is the data in the figure. These TDMA and TDM are seems to be conceptually same, but the difference that TDM is a physical layer technique, whereas TDMA is the data link layer access method. The data link layer in each station tells its physical layer to use allocated time slot.